So, Nick, why don't we start there? You think LeBron retook his throne as the best player in basketball over the last 2 games? Because there was doubt. May not have been from you, but there was doubt.
A lot of doubt.
No, he didn't. He didn't retake it. Because you can't retake something that's already yours. Like, I'm not retaking this cup of coffee. I've always had it. It's been here. No one took it from me. It's just been sitting right here. Now, occasionally, maybe it's off camera and people don't know it's there. But you can't retake something that's always yours. But if I may for a moment, may I congratulate America on the return of the single best show on television, 14 of the last 15 years. It's not 60 Minutes. It's not The Simpsons. It's none of those. There you go, Wilds. It's exactly that. It's playoff LeBron. And if you haven't been around, just for a moment here, let me remind you how this show started. Many people say it had the greatest pilot episode of any show ever, with the 32-11-11 in the first playoff game. See, after season 2 of this show, people were wondering, could this be the greatest show of all time? That's the year he took the Cavs to the finals in 2007. Seasons 7, 8, and 11 of the show, you swept all the awards.
He's been working on
You
this.
won the championships, you won the MVPs, all of it. Season 13 of this show, people still to this day say, might be the greatest individual performance ever. That was the 2018 Cavs. Now, then season 14 was postponed. And people wondered, is that show ever coming back? And then the first couple episodes of this season, people, it kind of slow, little plot setters. But now we're in the thick of it. Now the action's moving. Now you can't get up from your seat. Now you're wishing you could binge watch it. Hit next on Netflix.
Must-watch television.
Because we are up and running, baby. And it is the greatest show on television. Count on it, year in, year out. Wilds, you mimed it to me. We can all say it together. Playoff LeBron. Sit back and enjoy it. Because he's busting heads and taking names, Brandon. I'm
Nick,
wrong.
you're wrong.
Tell me how I'm
you're
wrong.
wrong again. The last 3 years, the greatest show on TV has been you on this show talking about LeBron and the Lakers. Like, this is the greatest show. I mean,
he'll stand corrected on that, Brandon.
Unbelievable. Come on, man. Listen, you are right, okay? There's one thing you're right about. LeBron, he never lost it, okay? But I will say this. His only competitor right now is wear and tear. He is the biggest beneficiary of this restart. Like LeBron James getting older, there's no more competition. The only thing that can knock him out is actually playing basketball. So I think that's what we're seeing right now, this re-energize, this refuel LeBron James. And this is why we're seeing guys like Dwayne Wade tweet about this is scary, because the real face of this league, and I'll say it again, and I'm going to say it every day until everyone gets behind me, is Luka. Luka is the man. Luka is the face.
Wow. Okay. This puts Nick in a tough spot because LeBron's his guy and Luka's his silver medalist, so I don't know how the show is going to progress. I also
Luka's my son. You're making me choose. Yeah. Luka's my son.
Even when we're deep
You're
in
really
NFL
boxing
playoffs,
me in, Brandon.
Brandon's like, guys, time for my Luka segment. It's like, Brandon, the Patriots are about to play in the Super Bowl. Nick, this was not a good night for me, and I texted you the emoji white flag that you did not respond to, which
I didn't respond.
I did not love. The Blazers are cooked. They won the bubble and lost the war. They reminded me of like when you and your buddies are out and it's late at night. It's about 1:30 a.m. You're like, wow, we got to shut it down. And then here comes LeBron and the Lakers. Let's start it up, guys. The party's just starting. You're like, oh, my God, we got to do shots now that the Lakers are here. We're in a bad spot. And I kept believing, Nick. I kept believing. It got to 30 points. I'm like, I'm not going to bed. It's Dame time coming up. And when it got to 38 points in Game 4, I said, you know what? Blazers might not have it. Blazers might not.
They
have
never
it.
had.
So I'll throw it back to you. And,
listen.
I'm glad you're happy, Nick, that you've taken my beaten down Blazers,
right about
my
everything.
injured Blazers, my Zach Collins poor ankle.
From the beginning.
Listen,
Now it's your Blazers. Now it's your Blazers. Come on, man. If you're going to be a fan, be a fan.
He's been on.
Cheer to the end.
Brandon, here real quick.
There's a rental car.
He's a really
very
weird
fair weather,
sports fan.
Brandon.
He's a sports
It's a rental car.
bigamist. He likes the Yankees and the Red Sox, the Blazers.
And
By the way, everyone forgets. You know who he liked just as much as the Blazers going into the bubble on the Eastern Conference? The Sixers. He was like, they're 29-2 at home. They got a lot of players who used to play for Orlando.
Several
and then he
players
just
from
left
Florida.
them. He left them on the side of the road. But speaking of the side of the road, Wilds. I didn't respond to your text yesterday, which was mean of me. So I'm going to do something nice here, which is not have our great producers run the video of you 5 days ago saying the Lakers are a car with no tires in the driveway. That you're worried about going cross country. They can't even get down the block. And that is not me picking on you, Kevin Wilds. It is using you as a vessel, as an example of how this team was being discussed. Everyone is so eager to say, this is it. It's over for LeBron. Whatever the reason is, that we pretended the regular season didn't happen. We pretended, to Brandon's point, that somehow the stoppage was going to be bad for LeBron. Like, oh, well, in those 4 months, he obviously doesn't have a way to work out or work on his body. He was just sitting at home, chilling out, watching Hulu. And folks were trying to explain
shirtless
that all
Instagram
of a
pictures,
sudden,
like an influencer.
the Lakers were terrible. No, Brandon, you saw it too. People were like, LeBron's averaging 20 points. That first playoff game didn't seem to have the burst. Playoff game number 2, they won, but he scored 10 points. When this right here was always lurking. And if you'd been paying attention, and unfortunately some people hadn't evidently, you knew it was coming, Brandon.
Wow, are you serious? Did you really make that statement? Did you really say that?
Yes.
How does that come out? How does that come out of your mouth?
Because in Wild's defense, they were playing pretty terribly offensively during the bubble. In Wild's defense, a lot of people didn't leave them for dead. But what they come out of the bubble with, a 3-5 record, they kind of stumbled into the playoffs. LeBron had a tough first quarter in the playoffs. Yeah, they did not look like that show that we've come to love for the last couple years, Nick. It looked like that last couple seasons of SVU. Nobody really loved the last couple seasons. It might still be going on. That's what they look like until they got a great storyline.
All my metaphors are accurate. I said they're a car with 4 flat tires. I didn't say the radiator was done. I didn't say the engine was done. I didn't say it was all rusted out underneath. I said they got 4 flat tires. They're shooting terribly. So you know what old Nick Wright did? Whoop, whoop, called up AAA. We need 4 new tires on this thing. Put a Danny Green tire on there, blammo. Put a J.R. Smith tire on there, blammo. Anthony Davis all of a sudden healthy and LeBron's playing well. They got new tires, now they're rolling. I was right the whole time.
Okay. All right, listen. All right, Brandon, I apologize. I apologize on behalf of both of our colleagues. First, on Jenna's behalf, because the poor people at SVU just got thrown under the bus because evidently they haven't screwed Jenna cameo the last 2 years. You're right. No, exactly. The SVU amazingly fell off the map evidently once they stopped putting Jenna in as a court reporter. Like, geez Louise, those poor folks. It's so unfair to them. And that's why she was like, it's been terrible lately. Now, and to Wilds thing, Wilds is saying they got new tires. It's the same tires. Danny Green was on the car before. KCP was on the car before, and folks tried to act like they all suck now. And some of us kept the faith because they have the panacea, the cure-all, the offense unto himself, LeBron James. And guess what? The faith he showed in Game 1 in those shooters that went 5 for 31, KCP and Danny Green, they're 15 of 30 from 3 since then. And Brandon, you can speak to this. If you are having a bad game, what's the worst thing the quarterback can do? Stop throwing to you, right? What's the best thing he can do? Show you he still has faith in you for the big moment.
You're saying it. I mean, this is the same formula LeBron has been using his entire career. You know, this guy demands that his teammates play defense. So when they're not knocking down 17 threes, they can play defense. They can score buckets in the paint. LeBron James, think about this. When he has shooters around him and they're actually making it, they're unstoppable. His teams are unstoppable. So, you know, like I said before, LeBron is the biggest beneficiary when it comes to this restart. And now his guys, Kuz and Green, we haven't even seen JR. Can we unleash JR, please? Right. Can we get playoff JR?
Maybe been a little too much JR. He's maybe a little too
listen, before we close out,
my guy.
We got to talk about the other side. Let's talk about the Blazers and where this now leaves them. Down 3-1 in this series. Is their run essentially over now as they're looking up at this hill, Nick? I mean, it's insurmountable, it seems.
Brandon, is the run over?
It's Nick. It's over. It's over, and it's so sad because who would you rather cheer more for? Like, think about this guy, Dame. He comes into the bubble, and he is just electric. I mean, he has the entire country rooting for this guy. He doesn't go run and chase rings. He's not going from team to team. This guy stood in the paint. He stayed in Portland, and he tried to get it done. Hopefully his knee is okay because you never wanted to see it in this way, but it's definitely over. I mean, the Lakers last night, man, they showed that this is the best of the Lakers, and no one can beat this Laker team.
Well, and listen, first of all, you're right. We're still awaiting results of the second MRI, and nothing would be more unfair than if Dame actually really hurt his knee and isn't able to go into next season at full strength. But speaking of unfairness, we're also over the next few weeks, about to see some real unfairness in how certain guys are covered. Dame is about to get beaten 5 by the Lakers, and it is only going to have elevated his standing. He was the best player on a team this year that was really damaged by injury, but he was there throughout. They were below 500. They were the 8th seed, and they're about to get washed out. In the very next round, James Harden is going to get beat by these same Lakers a round further. And it will be an indictment on him as a player. People will find a way to tear it down. And the people say, is Dame a top 5 guy? You know when Dame will be a top 5 guy? When folks start saying, can't be getting swept out of the playoffs or losing 4-1 every single year. That's when he's a top 5 guy, because right now, Dame is evaluated a little bit with kid gloves. And so there is an element of he got his team here and was the player of the bubble. But the status he was being elevated to, I'm not quite sure, Jenna, if he's quite at that level.
Wild. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.